Famed director Rob Reiner and his wife Michele were found dead Sunday afternoon in their Los Angeles home. Now, there's been an outpouring of support from Hollywood. This really shocked Los Angeles and those who knew him. And right now, we know that his son, Nick Reiner, 32 years old, has been arrested and is suspected of their murders. Here's everything we know about the first 24 hours after their bodies were discovered. Rob Reiner and his wife Michele were found Sunday afternoon, and by Sunday night, people had gathered near their home, outside of their home, and one of those people was Rob Reiner's assistant. He was seen on camera sobbing outside of the director's mansion, asking if there's anything he could do to help, asking if their daughter is there, and how he can really assist in any way. So as soon as the news breaks around Sunday afternoon, there's an outpouring of support within Hollywood. Rob Reiner directed When Harry Met Sally, Spinal Tap, Princess Bride, and so immediately you see the tributes kick off with Stephen King. He paid tribute to A Wonderful Friend. Then you have Elijah Wood. You have Ben Stiller, who calls Reiner's death a huge loss in the film community. The LA Dodgers post a tribute, and then going so far as former President Bill Clinton also made a statement. So at this time, we're seeing a lot of outpouring of support for Rob Reiner and a big loss in the Hollywood community. And then at the same time, insert Donald Trump, who posts on Truth Social a very lengthy statement saying that Rob Reiner suffered from Trump derangement syndrome. A very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away together with his wife Michele, reportedly due to anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before. May Rob and Michele rest in peace. So it's around this time that there's a possible suspect, and it's someone very close to them. That would be their son, Nick Reiner. Nick Reiner has been booked on felony murder charges for the Hollywood director and his wife after they were found dead. He was originally held on $4 million bail, and that was since rescinded. Nick, we've learned, is 32 years old. He has black hair, brown eyes. He's 6 feet 3 inches tall, weighs about 230 pounds, and this is all according to records. He was arrested around 9:15 p.m. on Sunday night. Now, it's around that time that details of Nick and his father's relationship really come to light. Nick struggled with drug addiction, lived in the parents' guest house for years, had been accused of trashing it at points, and this is something that was well documented. Nick and his father actually worked on the 2015 film Being Charlie together, and it really touched on a lot of these issues that this father and son pair faced. And what's interesting here, and this is in a lot of cases in Hollywood, that these issues that were kept very private, very close to the family, come to light. And as a result of his struggles, he may have been going through a mental health crisis at the time of his parents' murders. At this time, it was confirmed that there was no forced entry into the Reiners' home. So what that points to is that the Reiners were familiar with their killer. And at the time, Nick Reiner is already in custody, but then we get dramatic photos that show him being arrested for his parents' murder from Sunday night. Nick was found about 15 miles away from his family home in a motel room, apparently taken down with blood all over him. And again, Rob Reiner, famed director, lots of overflow of support. And at the same time, he does have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So what we see are flowers left by his star. So far, we have 2 dead bodies, an arrest, and what we learn is how things kind of unfolded that day. Rob Reiner had booked a masseuse to come to the house to give himself and his wife a massage. Daily Mail learned that she went to the house, knocked on the door, no one was answering. It was then that the daughter went next door to where their 28-year-old daughter, Romy, lives, brought her over, and she's the one who opened the door for the masseuse and made the grisly discovery of her parents. More details are unfolding, but what we did learn is that Saturday night, the family attended Conan O'Brien's holiday party. Sources say that Nick was acting erratically, that he was going up to people asking if they were famous, and what we're learning is that that night Nick got into a public argument with his parents. Sources later confirmed that Rob had told people that they were scared for their son Nick's mental health. And Nick's mother, Michele, had allegedly told friends that they've tried everything and that they were really at their wits' end with how to help Nick. At 2:43 p.m. on Monday, December 5th, the Los Angeles Police Department released a statement that Nick Reiner is responsible for his parents' death. Now, this is the most emphatic statement that we have so far that really places him with some type of fault over the murders of Rob and Michele. And in true Trump fashion, after already making a statement on Truth Social, he doubles down and speaks on the deaths of Rob and Michele Reiner.
Mr. President, a number of Republicans have denounced your statement on Truth Social after the murder of Rob Reiner. Do you stand by that post?
Well, I wasn't a fan of his at all. He was a deranged person as far as Trump is concerned. He said he knew it was false. In fact, it's the exact opposite, that I was a friend of Russia, controlled by Russia. You know, it was the Russia hoax. He was one of the people behind it. I think he hurt himself in career-wise. He became like a deranged person, Trump derangement syndrome. So I was not a fan of Rob Reiner at all, in any way, shape, or form. I thought he was very bad for our country.
Now we're seeing pictures come out of the aftermath. We see lots of private security guards around the Reiner home. You can see private property, no trespassing signs going up, and this is all pretty standard. As you can imagine, there's a big media turnout around the house. And at this point, everyone just wants answers. So you see photos being taken around Conan O'Brien's house because that's the last place that the couple was with their son. You see photos of trash bags from the aftermath of the party coming out. So you can see here that everyone is really hungry for some type of answers. Prosecutors have until Wednesday to file charges against Nick Reiner. So far, the 32-year-old has been booked on felony murder charges and being held without bail for the death of his parents. But police announced on social media that the case against Nick will be presented to the LA County District Attorney's Office for filing consideration on Tuesday. Now, it's at this time that Republicans start to turn on Trump for his comments against Rob Reiner. Several Republicans hit out at Donald Trump for his post and for doubling down. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who was once a Trump ally, has spoken out, saying that it's a family tragedy, it's not about politics or political enemies. Rep. Thomas Massie also called Trump's remarks inappropriate and disrespectful. Representative Nancy Mace, she didn't mention Trump's post or Trump by name, but she did say that while she disagreed with Rob politically, that no one deserves the ending that he and Michele received. No one. So more and more starts to come out about Nick and his drug use. Neighbors speak out. One neighbor, Marianne Lewis, she told Fox News how Nick went to rehab for drug use. She was quoted as saying he was on drugs and he went to rehab and did well. Apparently he was back to normal, but obviously that was not the case. The neighbor said that her last conversation with Rob was just days before his murder. She said that the two discussed how no one prepares them for aging and how it's just thrown upon them, and she said that they all laughed at that. So like I said, more is coming out about the family dynamic. We had a Mail Plus exclusive that said the truth about Little Nicky. Now, Little Nicky, if you know, that's a movie about a little devilish child, and that was his nickname, Nick Reiner's nickname. Friends of Rob Reiner revealed that their son had a lifetime of red flags, that from a young age he had behavioral issues, and that then manifested into drug use and mental health issues. And near the end of the first 24 hours since their bodies were discovered Sunday afternoon, Rob Reiner and Michele Reiner's family break their silence. They said in a statement that it is with profound sorrow that we announce the tragic passing of Michele and Rob Reiner. We are heartbroken by this sudden loss, and we ask for privacy during this unbelievably difficult time. Now, there's one person in particular who this is especially hard for, and that's their 28-year-old daughter, Romy Reiner. She was extremely close with her parents, posted on social media a video of her cutting her dad's hair, pictures of them at the beach, and she really had a close bond with her family. And again, she was the one who found her parents' bodies. So you can only imagine what the other children of the Reiners are going through, not only losing one parent, but two parents in a very grisly way, and also forming a wedge between themselves and their brother. Now, this is just the first 24 hours after these murders occurred. This is a developing story, and there's much more that will be uncovered. So make sure to follow Daily Mail for any more updates as we receive them.